Hey everyone, I'm James Bowerman with the Real Creative Group of Compass, and I'm here today with my guest, Will Camacho, with First Home Mortgage, and we're going to be talking about how you can buy a home with no money down. So to start off with, let's just kind of do a quick review over the different types of financing that you'd be able to use when purchasing a home.
We have conventional, which is 3% down. We also have FHA, which is 3.5% down. And then two of my favorites, we have the VA loan if you qualify, and it's a 100% finance loan, so essentially 0% down. And then a USDA, which is also 100% financed, which is a 0% down loan.
First off, with conventional, tell me about what that looks like as far as qualifications and down payment.
This loan type is more catered to those that are good to fair credit. Also, the down payment requirement's only 3% for first-time home buyers, and then 5% if you are buying your next home.
I have seen the 3%. So the requirement is simply you just need to be a first-time home buyer, or is there additional qualifications to get to 3%?
So if you have not been on a deed or a mortgage for at least 3 years and we can prove it, then your down payment requirements are reduced down to 3%.
All right, so the next one, FHA, traditionally known for, a little bit less strict or more lenient on the requirements. If your credit's not as good or you don't have as much to put down, it's only 3.5%. So talk about that one a little bit.
So yes, the FHA loan is known as being the less than favored loan product. However, it's just more lenient with some of the guidelines regarding credit requirements, also different types of income requirements for this loan product.
Let's move on to the VA loan, which if you've served in the military or if you've married into a military family, then you may qualify, and tell us a little bit about some of the benefits of the VA loan.
So the VA loan is one of my favorite loans, and I believe it's underutilized by veterans. You've served our country, the spouse has supported that veteran. The down payment requirements is 0%, so it's 100% financed. Also, the great thing about the VA loan is a lot of flexibility, not only in the income, but also the debts, and we're able to even have the seller in some cases pay for some of the credit cards or auto loans. It's just a great product, and since it's a government loan, the credit requirements are a lot more flexible. Also, your purchase power is increased, and the rate is much lower than a standard conventional loan.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely something if you're in the military, you want to take advantage of that. And then USDA. Now, USDA is not something that I don't think I've ever done because it's restricted as to the areas in which it can be used, correct? So yes. I do a lot in northern Anne Arundel County, and I believe that there's no areas that would support the USDA. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so where would I be looking to use a USDA loan? It is the same as like
United States Department of Agriculture.
Okay. So it's the same as like stamping on the food,
yes,
right? Okay.
Yes.
So USDA, a little bit of a unique loan, always seemed a little strange to me. So tell me, who is using a USDA loan?
So when you think about USDA, it is more of a rural area. So think of Queen Anne's County, Carroll County, Frederick County. I grew up in a USDA eligible area, basically chickens on one side and horses on the other. The requirements are a little bit more strict as far as credit score requirements, how much purchasing power you're allowed, and also the income requirements. This is the only loan that actually has income limitations. You can actually make too much money for this loan, but it is a little bit more of a niche product for folks.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. Good to know. So if you're in those rural areas or thinking about moving to one of those counties, definitely ask your lender about it. Now let's move into some of these other programs. I know First Home very much into the Maryland Mortgage Program, which is the one that I've used the most, and that's a down payment assistance program. So tell me about the MMP loan, the assistance, what that looks like, and some of the, I think you said some new features that were rolled out recently.
Yep. So Maryland's a great state for those that are trying to purchase a home and don't have all the funds available themselves. It's actually the fifth best state to utilize down payment assistance programs and grants. The Maryland Mortgage Program is the largest down payment assistance program available in the state, and First Home Mortgage, we're the top and preferred lender, and we've been that lender for 13 years in a row.
So you said there was a couple of different options with the Maryland Mortgage Program. Do you want to explain those?
So there's a plethora of programs underneath the umbrella of the Maryland Mortgage Program. The most popular being called the First Time Advantage. That is dedicated solely for those that are buying their first home. Again, definition of first-time home buyer is not on a deed or a mortgage in the last 3 years.
Okay.
So if you happen to buy a home or sell a home 5 years ago, you are now qualified as a first-time home buyer. They have a 3% down payment assisted program, a 4%, and a 5%. The 4% and 5% are the newer ones they just launched about a month ago. As far as guidelines, same qualifications, it's just the rate's going to be a little bit higher as you go up into the more the assistance you needed. And the greatest thing about that program is if you are doing a VA loan, you can still pair this up with the Maryland Mortgage Program loan. And if you're doing the 5%, you can contribute all 5% to your closing costs. Same thing goes with the conventional or FHA loan. Whatever's remaining of the down payment could go straight towards your closing costs. They also have a program for those that are buying their next home called the Flex program. And also there's a great program for those with student loan debt called the Smart Buy 3.0. That's a unique program where we can actually help pay off your student loan debt in the course of 5 years.
In addition to the Maryland Mortgage Program, are there other down payment assistant programs that home buyers, whether a first-time home buyer or repeat buyer, might be able to take advantage of?
Yeah, of course. Each county has their own specific grants and programs, and I can definitely introduce you to a counselor that specializes in that county to take advantage of any kind of grants. The reason why I recommend going to a counselor is just because they might have a program where it's completely limited funds and may only be in and out for a month, or maybe a certain amount of people can qualify. Also, there's a federal grant called FHLB, which is a $7,500 grant if you're a first-time home buyer, and a $10,000 grant if you're a teacher, a nurse, first responder, a military, or even police officer. So they get $10,000. The only caveat is that is strictly a conventional loan. It's still great, and you can buy down the interest rate if you choose to.
When I use this assistance and then I go to sell the house, do I have to repay that loan that I got from the Maryland Mortgage Program?
It's a great question. I don't want to get a phone call years later when someone's selling the house and realizing there's a second lien. The difference between down payment assistance and a grant is forgivable. Now, each grant has different forgivable terms. Typically, it's 5 years, and usually it works 20% a year. Is how they operate, most of the grants. As far as down payment assistance, they stay as a second lien until you decide to refinance or sell the home, and then you have to pay it back. Now, if you're refinancing, you can still roll it into the loan, which was very common the last 2 years when everyone's refinancing. But again, it's meant to get you into a home sooner.
Sure.
Because as you're realizing, we're seeing this appreciation of insane amounts. After a year, they might see appreciation of 3 or 4%. They have equity, and they didn't really have to use as much of their own funds for it.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, well, great information.
Cool.
Appreciate it, Will. Thanks, everyone, for watching. If you have questions for Will, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
My cell phone is 609-364-2280. Yes, it's a New Jersey number, but I do live here in Maryland.
All right, excellent. If you have questions, leave them in the comments, and we'll be sure to get back to you with those answers. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Take care. Until next time, we'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you, James.
Thanks, Will.
Appreciate it.